What is good, guys? Welcome to another episode. Y'all know what it is. It's the weekend, meaning another one of these videos pretty much going in on some of these red pill dudes, okay? And none so other than Andrew Tate. That's right, folks. Listen, I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Like, the more I look into this situation, the more that comes out of this, guys, things are not looking too good right now for the Tate brothers. Okay, it is really not looking too good. And thing is, it's actually getting so bad that like they have ordered another 30-day stay in addition to the initial 30-day extension from the 24-hour hold they had, right? This is another one because they want to investigate more. And essentially, for those guys who don't think this is happening or this is real, no, this is real. This happened. The news came out yesterday. There are articles about this, and it's blown up over the internet. This is probably going to be the most high-profile case that Romania has most likely ever had. It's probably not going to be as important in the West, maybe to a lot of the guys who follow Tate, because we're preoccupied with the whole Ukrainian Russo crisis going on right now. So we're not too much focused on Tate. But there is a lot of pressure on the Romanian authorities to get this right, to get this set up right. They got a high profile guy or team, as we say, because there are four other individuals attached to this case. They have a high profile team that are potentially guilty of human trafficking. And that seems like the charge they're really going in and pursuing. And after we get through this episode today, it's going to make a lot of sense on why prosecutors are choosing to go ham on the sex trafficking charge, because it's really not going to look too good. And we're also going to cover certain evidences that would kind of support the case that these guys may end up being found guilty and spending some serious time in prison, not jail that they're in right now, in prison. And here's the thing. With this new 30-day hold that they have extended from the original 30-day hold that was done, this means that the Tate brothers potentially will not see freedom until February 27th. That's the end of next month. Okay, so things are heating up. And here's the other thing, right? They could potentially extend it once that time frame hits again. So once February 27th come, prosecutors can and potentially will petition the judge again to go ahead and extend it for another 30 days, up to 180 days if need be, to complete their investigation. This shows you how serious this stuff is and how, the Matrix and all the stuff that people are talking about. Maybe we have to hold off on that and like kind of just, seek the truth and try to figure out what is actually happening. Is he guilty? Will they find him guilty? And if he is found guilty, how much time do you see this guy looking at, right? We're going to cover all of that and more in today's episode, guys. So go ahead and kick your feet back, relax, grab your popcorn if you don't already have it, and enjoy the show. But before we do any of that, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the sub button, and the bell notification, guys. That is very important in 2023 because YouTube is not playing with the like and bell button, okay? So if you want to get the latest news that's going on in the red pill space right now, go ahead and smash the like button. All right, hit the subscribe if you're down with the show, and go ahead and hit that bell notification so YouTube lets you know whenever we're out here with the video. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the recent article that just came out, essentially proving that the judge extended the stay till February 27th. All right, now here's the thing: the first extension, the lawyer, hang on one second, the lawyer basically, tried to appeal it, right? They tried to go for some kind of appeal, and that appeal ended up getting denied, right? And Tate's lawyer and the Tate team, they called it false. They called it a unfair treatment, and all these different things under the sun, right? And here's actually the lawyer after the first 24-hour to 30-day extension, and here's what they had to say about that.
The court issued an arrest warrant for 30 days. We've appealed it. The court will decide after the appeal what the final solution is. Well, we are not at a stage where guilt or innocence is proven. For now, we only discuss preventive measures and the opportunity of taking certain measures. Guilt was not discussed. In my opinion, in the best possible way, from a defense perspective, from our perspective, there are no grounds for taking the most drastic preventive measures provided by the Criminal Procedure Code. But the judge has the prerogative to pronounce a solution, one that we have appealed, and we will see the solution after the appeal.
Needless to say that appeal got denied. It got denied, so the Tates are actually right now currently still spending time in jail, and so much so that as the release date came up, the prosecutors basically petitioned the judge to extend it for another 30 days, and essentially it got approved. And the Tate team, the whole squad, they are not happy about that right now. In fact, they are pissed off that this is happening. And yes, they will go ahead and try to appeal that decision again. And chances are it's most likely going to get denied. And the reason why it's going to get denied is because this guy, his social media and his own mouth has gotten him in trouble. Okay, here's what I mean. He's basically on tape saying that if he actually gets caught up in some legal problems in one country, he has 7 passports to utilize and travel to other countries. And this video, I don't know if this particular video was it, but the judge did use a video in consideration to, appealing that judgment, basically saying, hey, dude, this video kind of serves as evidence that you might be a potential flight risk. Okay, you got 7 passports. We gonna have all of that. Give me all them passports, Brody. We not playing, all right? So they took all of that, and chances are he's gonna stay in jail for a pretty long time until they get through this investigation. Now, some of you guys will be asking, okay, this is false, all right? Because what investigation are these guys, going after? What more evidence could they want? I mean, this is a witch hunt, right? As some of the Tate boys will say to you or some of these other guys on social media, right? This is a witch hunt. The Matrix is at it again. What exactly are these investigators trying to investigate? What new evidence are they trying to gather that would warrant, them being held for another 30 days? Well, here's the crazy thing. You kind of actually, to answer that question, you kind of have to dive into what not Ukraine, I'm sorry. My mind is on somewhere else. Romanian situation is going on right now. You have to understand the country and what's happening. For those of you guys who don't know, Romania is actually part of that Eastern European countries, one of those Eastern European countries that usually wasn't really doing the best economy compared to its counterparts and some of the other countries nearby. Essentially, because they came off of being, part of the whole Soviet Union, with the whole, expansion and whatnot. And ever since the collapse in '94, well, they've kind of been trying to struggle to get back on their feet ever since, right? So let's just say their economy isn't really the greatest, and there are other people who are in poverty right now who are searching for different money-making opportunities, whether it's in certain fields that may be legal and in some cases other fields that are not legal. And in this case, the latter is actually what's causing the biggest problem in Romania right now, because they are known for their sex trafficking. Okay, it is actually a big problem right now, and Romania is taking aggressive steps to basically mitigate all of that. All right, matter of fact, they've been doing such a good job. They got upgraded to a new tier of basically them, tiptoeing their way to being a tier 1 country, right? Or a top tier country. So they're underway and they're taking aggressive stance, right? And I will explain to you guys in a second why this all, compared with the aggression the Romania government has on sex trafficking as a whole, right? And what's going on with the Tate brothers and the Tate team right now. I'm going to explain to you why they are aggressively going after this situation, and why, honestly, I think the Tate brothers might actually spend some serious time, right? And maybe may not be the maximum of what we're going to go ahead and break down, because we'll go over the law situation here too as well. But I think the government, based on the situations that they're going through and this high profile case that has landed on their laps, I think the prosecutors, they're going to want to make some kind of example out of him. And realistically, they already have, by the confiscation of his properties, and likelihood he's not gonna be able to see most of those properties back. His cars have been towed, confiscated. His properties, some of his assets are gone, right? And the Romanian government basically said that once the investigation is concluded, and if he is indeed found guilty, they will use the seized assets from the Tate Foundation. I'm calling it the foundation, even though it's not classified as a foundation. Matter of fact, they actually classify that as a criminal organization. So whatever assets that comes out of that criminal organization that they seized will go towards paying for the investigation, and then whatever is left over would actually go to the victim. So Uncle Sam has to get their cuts first, at least the Romanian version of Uncle Sam. All right. So let's take a look at this article that popped up, and this was done yesterday, guys. This article was yesterday. This was January 20th. 2023, and we are in the 21st. Guys, go ahead and hit the like button on the video. Okay, likes are free, so is this show. Romanian judge grants 30-day extension of the Tate detention, baby. This is crazy. This is news that just hopped out yesterday. A judge in Romania has granted a request to extend by another 30 days the arrest of Andrew Tate, the social media personality who was detained in the country on charges of being part of an organized crime group, human trafficking, and grape. An official said Friday. This was last Friday, or this Friday, actually. So Tate, 36, British U.S. citizen who has $4.7 million on, not dollars, 4.7 million followers on Twitter, was initially detained on December 29th in Bucharest, Romania's capital. His brother Tristan and 2 Romanian women were arrested and held in the same case. Now, for those guys who don't know, they also said that there were 2 other women involved. All right. The 2 other women that were involved are one of them is actually known to be his assistant. Her name is Georgina Nahale. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Georgina Nahale. All right. That's her on the left and right. I mean, holy shit. Makeup is a hell of a drug, ladies. But she's seen in a lot of Tate's promotional videos on TikTok and Instagram, and she's well known as one of Tate's assistants, who's also basically lumped in as part of this charge. Another one is a woman named Luana Radu. Luana Radu is a whole shit, ladies. Makeup is a hell of a drug. God damn. But Gianna Radu is basically another one who's caught up in the situation right now. So she's also, I don't know if she's, you see certain videos of her out there, but she's not as a mainstay as Georgiana is. So this lady, you will see her everywhere, and she is lumped up as part of this criminal organization that the Tate brothers are being prosecuted under right now. Ramona Bola, a spokesperson for the Romania's anti-organized crime agency, the DIICOT, told the Associated Press that the prosecutors requested a second 30-day extension Thursday to keep all 4 in detention while the investigation continued. A judge approved the request Friday. This was yesterday, guys. And she said the judge decision at the Bucharest tribunal came after all 4 lost an appeal last week in a Bucharest court against the judge December 30th, ruling to extend their arrest from 24 hours to 30 days. So after they got the appeal denied, they also they also approved the extension for the Tate brothers, which is insane, guys. So the Tates are likely to appeal this Friday's decision or last Friday's decision. Loan Giala, a lawyer for the Tate brothers, said he has considered the ruling Friday as totally unjustified. Only an hour ago, the session was closed and the file has 20 volumes, he said. I find it very hard to believe that someone has the physical capacity to study the file in such a short time, as only yesterday it reached the tribunal. So the files, I'm guessing some of the evidences that are out there, and they're saying, how could you, how could you review this so quickly? Now, here's the thing that the lawyer is saying. The lawyer is basically saying that, hey, this is essentially a witch hunt. All right, they haven't really done anything. All right, this is totally unjustified. Like, what did the Tate brothers do to deserve this? Right now, here's the thing: is it justified? Is it not justified? That's something that we're actually going to cover in this particular live stream today, because we're going to find out if it is or not. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The part of the reason why I think it's justified in this case is because of Tate's own mouth. Okay, guys, here's what I mean by that. Tate's own mouth has gotten him in this trouble by you trying to appear cool in front of a bunch of fucking teenagers. All right, you basically told on yourself. The whole passport thing, them seeing you as a flight risk, that is a huge, huge problem. Okay, they can't let you go while they're doing these investigations, right? Because you might just use one of those 7 passports and not come back. And here's the thing, I'm not saying that Romania doesn't have the resources to try to figure out, how to extradite you from whatever country you end up in. But the real question is, what if one of those countries you do end up in or you have a passport with doesn't have extradition treaties with Romania, right? So now, you're there and you've escaped, justice that was supposed to happen in Romania. So they're going to hold on to you. And yes, it is justified. And no one else did it to you, Tate, but you. So you got to take that L, bro. So here's the thing. Again, here's another article basically of them towing a lot of his Bugatti. So if you guys want to know where Andrew Tate's Bugatti is, it ain't with him at his crib. He doesn't even have a crib at this point anymore. Everything is being locked down, okay? Romanian authorities descended on a compound near Bucharest January 14th to tow away a fleet of luxury cars and other assets worth an estimated $3.9 million in a case investigating human trafficking in Romania, right? Here's the guys, this is not looking good. So they already took his Bugatti. They got 7 other of his 15 or 14 other luxury cars of his. It's not looking too good. Now here's the thing. The Tate brothers in the Romanian government, we got to ask the question, why is the Romanian government pursuing this very, very heavily right now? Okay, just like I explained before, they're one of those up and coming countries, right? They're trying to get things right and get their legal system on board and not be known for that country that is corrupt, right? And Andrew Tate actually has made complete reference to that in many of his videos of how, matter of fact, how he escaped, or not escaped, I'm sorry, wrong verbiage. He left the UK to go to Romania because their laws were a little bit lax when it comes to, Me Too and some of these other allegations that wouldn't get levied against him, all those different talking points. Now, here's the thing. He said those things on one of these little interviews when he's trying to be macho and, things like that. But with the case riding up here, I mean, was there some truth to that? We don't freaking know, but we know that a UK citizen right now is booked in Romania for sex trafficking, and he mentioned that in the video. So there's a lot of things going on right now, but here's the crazy thing, right? The crazy thing is Romania, part of their sex trafficking situation is also going after underage trafficking. Okay, they're going after a lot of underage trafficking. They want to make sure that young girls, which primarily do get trafficked in places like Romania, don't end up in a situation. So the DIICOT, the organization that arrested Tate, was actually a part of a newly formed coalition that Romania formed to actually go after specifically sex traffickers, which is crazy that he ended up in those guys' custody, because that's letting you know that there's some serious situations there, right? So why would the DIICOT, the guys that investigate sex trafficking, particularly child sex trafficking, be involved in investigating the case? Well, here's another article that was put out by BBC. Now, here's the thing. Anything with the BBC, I take it with a grain of salt. But here's the thing. They really don't have anything to really be, crazy about with Andrew Tate and whatnot. There are some people who are biased about the Andrew Tate, and they don't like the Tate brothers or the Tate organization. And I will let you guys know what channels are biased and which ones aren't. The BBC, it seems like they kind of got close to the point, although this one itself, not the BBC reporting it, but the women who are accusing Tate of messaging them or getting in contact with them while they were underage, that may be a different story, because that may be something that's hard to prove. But here's the thing. That also would make sense of why this particular crime investigation agency or sex traffic crime investigation agency is taking a deeper interest in this, and could possibly explain why their detainment got extended another 30 days. Could this be part of the investigation that they're trying to dig into? Let's find out. Andrew Tate, Romanian teens explain how he approached them on social media. Again, this was written about a day ago. So a lot of stuff is coming out, guys. All right. And here's that Georgiana Nahale. All right. That's his assistant right there. Okay. Look at her face. She don't look like she can hack it in Romanian jails. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you this. All right. Another thing that goes on when people are being investigated, interrogations. Okay. And y'all, if you guys have never been in an interrogation room before, it is the most nerve-wracking thing that you can ever experience. A human being can never experience. Imagine 2 or 3 people, all right, who are basically surrounding you in a room, and they're pressing you constantly with questions, and they're asking sometimes the same questions in different ways for almost 8 hours and even longer, right? People crack. There's a lot of people crack under pressure. So I'm not saying, that these women are gonna crack and basically snitch on Tate and expose a whole organization so they can get less time or not have to deal with it. But what I am saying is the lawyer for all 4 of these guys, okay, couldn't even help them when they extended it for another 30 days. So could this be a tactic for them to build up pressure on some of the weaker opponents that are not opponents, but weaker teammates that are part of the Tate organization? Only time would tell, right? So Darla Guza was 16 and at school when she said she received a private message on Instagram from Andrew Tate. Again, take it with a grain of salt unless it's proven that it was a Tate account that did this. We don't know. So she says that Andrew Tate, a high profile influencer, almost 20 years older than her. It just read Romanian girl, and he put some flirty emojis. Daria told me. I was confused because I only had 200 followers and it was a private account. She is one of 2 teenagers who have been described to the BBC how Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan approached them online, apparently using a standard formula. It was obvious that we were high school girls, Daria said. We had our high school in our bio and everything. I think he was just trying to find girls who were as innocent or as naive as possible, in my opinion. She showed us a screenshot of the message, which she never replied to, but she says some of her friends did. And there's the screenshot there. There's the Tate account apparently, and it says Romanian girl with the strawberry. Again, I don't know, unless you can click on this profile and it's going to take you to an Andrew Tate account. Take this with a grain of salt, guys. All right. Daria, who is now at the university in the UK, is the daughter of a prominent Romanian politician. She feels able to speak out publicly when others have refused to go on the record. The Tate brothers are currently in a 30-day custody in Romania while police investigate allegations of rape and trafficking. Both men deny. In the video posted online, Andrew Tate appears to instruct others on how to approach women on social media. In my experience, what raises intrigue and inspires them to respond is I ask where they are, he says in a recording. Sometimes for intrigue, I'll put a completely pointless emoji on the end, some cherry or an orange or a strawberry. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Hey, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Since sharing her experiences, Daria says many young men have accused her of lying. I mean, can you blame them? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. And only when the truth come out from the investigation will we find out. Okay. So I'm sorry, lady, but Daria, but we got to take your shit with a grain of salt. Right. So even guys I used to know from high school are calling me a liar for saying I once received a message from Andrew Tate. She told me, but they don't find anything strange about all the other allegations. She says many men of her age idealize Andrew Tate, who's 36. This is a big problem, she told me, because we can't wake up in 20 years with 2 million Andrew Tates. Too late, buddy. It's happening. In public for his online courses in manipulating and exploiting women, Andrew Tate said, I've been running a webcam studio for over a decade. Over 50% of my employees were actually my girlfriends at the time. Of all my girlfriends, none were in the adult entertainment industry before they met me. I mean, some really incriminating stuff here, guys. He describes his job as to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me, where she'll do anything I say. The publicity continues. And then get her on the webcam so we can become rich together. He has previously said he would never date a woman over 25. So he's going the whole Brad Pitt thing. Or no, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's doing the whole Leonardo DiCaprio grift, right? Gabriella, not her real name, was 17 when she was contacted on social media by Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's brother Tristan, though she later pretended she was 19. All right, so this is why I mean, take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt, guys. I knew he was using the same approach with other girls, she says. He always starts the conversation with the same exact line, "You're beautiful." Huh? Gabriella said a friend of hers received exactly the same opening message from Tristan Tate. In his video found online, Andrew Tate says he phrases "you're beautiful" isn't as bad as an opening and goes on to outline what he describes as a perfect example of a conversation. After establishing where the woman is, Mr. Tate advised men to ask, "Why do I never see you? Where are you hiding?" 99% of them say they're not hiding, he says in the recording. This is exactly what appears to have happened in the exchange with Gabriella. Screenshots of what is purported to be her conversation with Tristan Tate show in this next message is exactly as Andrew Tate described. "I feel I haven't seen you around town before somewhere. Is that possible? Where have you been hiding?" What? Yo, this is an L Riz, bro. I just gotta say, yo, if this is true and this is like if this is Tristan Tate's Riz, bro, this is an L Riz, dog. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, listen, and you know what? He doesn't have to have Riz game. All right, he has money. All right, the Tates have money, so they don't have to have game. I'm just saying, I'm not starting off a conversation with this bullshit, bro. This sounds saucy as hell. I feel like I've seen you. What? I feel like I've seen you around town before somewhere. Is that possible? What is this, an interview? Like what is this? I feel I've seen you around town before somewhere. Is that possible? Guys, I don't know how this works, but this is El Riz, bro. Gabriella says he invited her out in his car and to a party, though she declined. Screenshots of her exchange indicated that the conversation had ended abruptly after she posted a video about him on social media. Important people will never want to write to you if they see you do stuff like this. Just a friendly warning. One of his last messages say. This is apparently the Tristan Tate's account. And this is the opening line. "You're beautiful." Okay. All right, that's pretty generic, but I guess that works. It gets a lot of girls involved. I guess why not, right? You do whatever works for you. Here's the thing. What people are saying, and as part of what is the ongoing investigation right now, is they're saying, hey, the Tristan Tate, fuck, I'm getting these guys confused. Andrew and Tristan Tate, all right, the Tate brothers, all right, they're using a method is what they call a lover boy method, all right? A lover boy method is basically where you woo a girl and you get her interested in you romantically to the point where they feel as though that you are going to be the next man that's going to put them a ring on their finger and save them from their miserable existence, in this case, because they're targeting girls who they feel as though are naive, innocent, and probably not in the best situation in life. Because come on, if you're a woman who was doing well in life, you probably wouldn't respond to this bullshit. Most of the time, I'm not saying most mature women don't fall for that stuff. I mean, there is a Tinder swindler. I mean, he got a bunch of women who should have known better. So it just goes to show you this shit works sometimes. All right, but they're basically using that as a case to say, hey, he manipulated these girls, made them believe that they were here under pretense of a relationship, but then afterwards, he then forces them to do webcam and provide pornographic images to whoever, clients, and whatever the hell, right? And those were things that could be backed up in statements that he said himself on social media. Again, telling on himself, right? I mean, this is nothing new when it comes to black folks and social media. I mean, especially when it comes to just exposing all of our criminal enterprises on there just to prove that we're cool. It doesn't stop. It's just a thing that's in us for some reason. We just got to stunt and floss on people. And in this case, listen, guys, if you run a criminal organization, the last thing you want to do is go on social media and expose yourself, okay? And if you don't think that this is something that happens, believe me, it does. Because this is one of the arguments a lot of guys who were, trying to, just give the benefit of the doubt. We're saying, hey, Tate is a pretty smart guy. Matter of fact, the Tate brothers and their team are pretty smart people. There's no way, if this was true, if they were running in a criminal organization, that they will actually draw this unnecessary attention to themselves, right? Why would anyone who is making that much money in the public eye, knowing that they are running a criminal enterprise, bring unwanted attention to themselves? Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. It happens all the time. Again, look at Hush Puppy, all right? Hush Puppy, he's Nigerian. I'm Nigerian, okay? So, hey, listen, it doesn't just happen to blacks in America. It happens to blacks in West Africa too, all right? Hush Puppy was a Nigerian who literally a scammer and basically scammed a bunch of companies out of millions, and then promoted himself on social media. And it was through social media is how they caught his ass, all right? Because they were saying, wait a minute, bro, we don't even know you. There's no record of you even figuring out, like, how is all this money coming in? It can't be some of this self-help shit where you're just telling other people to believe in themselves and money's just going to wash all over you. That doesn't work, right? So when the IRS gets to looking at you, they're going to find something. That just is what it is. And that leads me to my next thing, right? A lot of these guys are using this self-improvement grift, okay, to basically sneak their way into success, right? They manipulate the young minds of the masses out there into success, right? Because a lot of young people, let's just be real. Our parents fucked up, and our parents' fucked up, and they fucked up in teaching us how to be responsible adults. Somewhere along the line, generationally speaking, somebody dropped the ball, all right? So now kids of these generation, at least generations now moving forward, are looking to the internet for heroes. And unfortunately, they're finding guys who are grifting into this self-improvement space and manipulating them just to make quick buck. And it's proven here that there's a huge, huge market for this kind of stuff. And guys, you already know my thoughts on this self-improvement shit. It's a grift. Don't buy into it, okay? It's a grift. You either got it or you don't. That's just the only thing that you got to figure out. So moving on. Why is this? Why are the Tate brothers kind of sweating right now? Why is the Tate lawyer sweating right now? Why is everyone who is part of the organization sweating right now? Well, remember what I told you earlier, that Romania is going ham. They're getting serious on this prosecution situation, right? Of sex trafficking and all that. They're getting serious on prosecuting that. Matter of fact, they've gone in and prosecuted a lot of people who have been found potentially guilty or charged with it. And here's the thing. The people who were guilty spent an average of 12 years in prison. I'm not joking, right? Matter of fact, we're about to get into the article right now. All right. So from this website, it's state.gov. All right. So this is basically, we're gonna go over what the prosecution is of hold up, is this yeah, oh, actually what we'll actually do, yeah, we'll do the profile and then we'll do the prosecution, right? So actually, no, let's read the prosecution first, right? So the government increased, and this is Romania, by the way. The government increased law enforcement efforts in Articles 210 and 211. We'll check in on those in just a second. Of the criminal code, criminalized sex trafficking and labor trafficking, and prescribed penalties of 3 to 10 years, right? For crimes involving an adult victim, it is up to 10 years imprisonment for those involved with a child, right? These penalties were sufficiently stringent and with the respect to sex trafficking, commensurate with penalties prescribed for other serious crimes such as rape. In 2021, the government enacted amendments to the criminal code that criminalized the act of becoming aware of certain forms of trafficking and not immediately notifying the authorities, right? So here's the thing. This is where the Tate assistants could potentially find themselves in serious hot water, right? Because they're not only going after people involved in sex trafficking, but if you're even a witness to it and you don't say nothing, they gonna book you. All right. So it's getting real in here. All right. The amendments also eliminated the statute of limitations for trafficking crimes. So there is no statute of limitations. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, it's basically a limit of when they can prosecute you for a set amount of for the crime, right? So let's say 5 years. After 5 years go by and you committed a crime or that particular crime, the prosecutors can't go after you after that 5-year period, right? So in this case, when it comes to sex trafficking, they got rid of that. It's none of that. It's if you did it 5 years ago, they're gonna book you for it. Did you do it 10 years ago, 50 years ago, they still gonna butcher you for it. There's no statute of limitations. So this gives authorities additional time to investigate and prosecute such crimes. Previous amendments to the criminal code evidently shortened the statute of limitations for all child trafficking committed and impeded authorities' ability to prosecute these cases. The new amendment addressed direct concerns from the Council of Europe and civil society at length of court proceedings, often due to delays that were deliberate attempts by corrupt officials to reach the statute of limitations, in which some cases led to impunity for traffickers. Okay, so basically what they're saying, the old laws that they had before the new amendments came in, was they basically were a lot lenient on traffickers, and there were a lot of people who were corrupt that were basically in the pockets of some of these guys, and they basically lobbied or delayed to basically get the new amendment put in. All right, so now the new amendments put in, all bets are off. All right. If you're corrupt or you don't not corrupt, Romania is desperately trying to turn over a new leaf, and they're not trying to be seen as this, third world country where people can just go in there and just do whatever to their women, do whatever to their laws when it comes to taxes, or just generally exploiting them, right? So they want to become more like their first world counterparts in Europe, and they are taking aggressive steps to do that. All right, here's where it gets crazy. All right, the Organized Crime and Terrorism Investigation Directorate, the DIICOT, remember we're talking about that, and Department for Combating Organized Crime, the DCCO, were responsible for investigating and prosecuting trafficking cases. In 2021, the DIICOT established a dedicated anti-trafficking unit with 7 prosecutors for prosecuting crimes and providing training and support to prosecutors in the DIICOT's regional office. What this means is one of these 7 prosecutors are on the Tate case. They are on the Tate case. And I'm doing more research to find out who is actually the prosecutor on working on Tate's case, or is it like a tribunal of prosecutors? Because I don't know, it's a foreign country, so we don't know how they're doing it. But yeah, they have this whole organization set up with their own prosecutors just to prosecute these guys, just to prove that they are taking this crap seriously. They're not playing. With the addition of units, both the DIICOT and the DCCO operated dedicated teams of anti-trafficking police officers and prosecutors. So some of those guys in masks and body armor with big guns that raided the Tate mansion, those are them. they got teams. They're like little elite special forces, right? Currently, the authority to investigate trafficking in persons, trafficking in minors, and pimping committed by organized crime group remain with the DIICOT, while other prosecutors were responsible for regular pimping through the use of coercion and the exploitation of minors, forced begging, and theft. Here's the crazy thing. So these 2 organizations here, they pretty much work on the same cases, but one of them works on a different kind of pimping, which these guys, they're working on what they call not regular pimping. What do you call it? Pimping committed by organized crime. So regular pimping and not regular pimping. So the not regular pimping, I'm assuming, is what Tate's doing with social media, which is why this organization is a lead organization that's investigating the brothers right now. So they do the non-regular pimping, while the DCCO, they work on regular pimping, which is the use of coercion, right? And then the exploitation of minors and being forced into these trafficking schemes. All right. So yeah, they basically talk about how it's caused problems for them in the past because some of their cases have the overlap. But yeah, it gets crazy. So here's the thing: when we look at the articles, right? Because they pointed out Article 210 and Article 211 of their I don't know if this is their constitution or whatever it is, but it's a pretty big document. And this Article 210 pertains to trafficking of persons, and Article 211 pertains to trafficking of underage persons. Okay, so this is what the prosecutors are going to use against the Tate brothers, right? So again, with the minors situation, we got to look at this article over here where these minors are claiming that, the Tate brothers were reaching out to them to potentially try to recruit them for this situation. So, there's a lot of stuff that's adding up right now. So trafficking in persons, what does that mean? The recruitment and transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons for exploitation purposes. By means of coercion, which could be considered the lover boy method could be considered under the coercion method, right? The non-traditional pimping, right? Abduction, all right, which was a charge levied against him the first time because an American girl got flued out and she said that she was abducted, right? Deception, which can also fall under the lover boy method, and abuse of power, when he's made statements of taking away their passports, manipulating their taxes and their paperwork and things like that. So the girls are intentionally left in the dark about their actual situation. Abuse of power that can fall underneath that, right? By taking advantage of the inability of a person to defend him or herself or express his or her will of their blatant state of vulnerability. All right. C, by giving or receiving payments or other benefits in exchange for the consent of an individual having authority over such person. Again, this is where the whole webcam situation can fall in because they generate a shit ton of revenue off of that. And some of those girls are now saying they were coerced. Some of them also saying they were forced into doing these certain things that generated that kind of cash. So listen, shall be punishable by no less than 3 and no more than 10 years of imprisonment and a ban on the exercise of certain rights. Number 2, trafficking in persons perpetrated by a public servant. Okay, this is like a cop or something like that. So they'll get up to 5 or 12 years imprisonment, which makes sense, right? So Article 211 basically goes over underage persons, right? Recruitment, transportations, transfer, harboring, pretty much similar to the first Article 10, right? The first one we read. But here's where it gets a little bit crazy, right? Submission to forced or compulsory labor, an act of compelling a person in cases other than the ones established by the legal provisions to work against his or her will to compulsory or to compulsory labor shall be punishable by no less than 1 and no less than 3 years of imprisonment, right? So, and then Article 13 goes into their pimping laws. So here's another thing people aren't talking about, how listen, these guys are digitally pimping. Here's proof of that, right? Causing or facilitation of the practice of prostitution or obtaining of the financial benefits from the practice of prostitution by one or more individual shall be punishable by no less than 2 and no more than 7 years of imprisonment and a ban of the exercise of certain rights. So realistically, some of these articles and the punishment contained in them can lead up to anywhere from, we're seeing 2-3 years all the way up to 12 years if you're a public official and some of the stuff. So you can see like Romania is not playing with this sex trafficking thing, right? They're trying to turn over a new leaf, right? So here's what they classify as sex trafficking, and this is their trafficking profile. As reported over the past 5 years, human traffickers exploit domestic and foreign victims in Romania, and traffickers exploit victims from Romania abroad. Romania remains a primary source country for sex trafficking and labor trafficking victims in Europe. The vast majority of identified victims, 77% of them in 2021 are sex trafficking victims. Traffickers are typically Romanian citizens working as part of an organized crime group based on family and ethnic ties, who exploit Romanian women and children in sex trafficking in Romania and other European countries, including the Czech Republic, Finland. Whoa, Finland's on this list? That's wild. France is on this list. See, okay, so they even got some first world countries in here. They got Spain and the UK, which is crazy because Tate has passports to 2 or 3 out of these countries, 5 countries that was listed on here, right? And they're all known for sex trafficking, which is nuts. Experts continue to report Romanian women recruited for sham marriages in Western Europe. After entering these marriages, traffickers force the women into commercial or sex labor. Holy shit. Guys, Guys, this is oddly similar to the lover boy method, right? The coercion into thinking that you're going to be in a relationship with this person. And when you finally get there to that person, right, you finally visit them and you're waiting for that relationship, they're all of a sudden flipping the script on you. And they're saying, you know what, how about you go ahead and work for me and we make money, by you showing your titties to guys online, right? That's what they classify, experts classify as how Romanian women and other women get recruited into trafficking in Europe. So what Tate is doing, the lover boy method and whatnot, that's nothing new. That's actually just a derivative of the main type of scheme a lot of these traffickers run in Romania, right? So some of them they're basically saying they go as far as to marrying these girls and then forcing them into trafficking, which is crazy. And it's oddly similar, not the same thing, right? Because he's not promising marriages unless evidence comes out saying that he's promising marriages to these girls. But it's oddly similar to what a lot of these guys are already doing and getting busted for. The Tate brothers are convincing women who are in these other countries to come to their home under false pretense or the promise of relationship, and then they're basically getting them to do webcam business, right? Pornography. So some of these women are now complaining that they were forced or coerced into doing this, right? And some of them were saying they weren't even allowed to leave. Now we're looking at the Romanian law and what they classify as trafficking. Do you see why this shit got extended for another 30 days and why these guys are gung-ho on investigating the Tate brothers and the Tate group, right? Because you see this? Listen, I want you guys to pay attention to the verbiage, right? Traffickers are typically Romanian citizens working as part of an organized crime group, right? What are they classifying the Tate group as, right? What are they classifying Georgina Nahale, right? What are they classifying Luana Radu? What are they classifying Tristan Tate? What are they classifying Andrew Tate as, right? What do they classify these guys as doing? They're classifying these guys as being part of an organized crime group. Do you see how they're setting this stuff up to put these guys away? They're not playing, okay? So they're already basically saying that experts continue to report Romanian women recruited for sham marriages in Western Europe. After entering these marriages, traffickers force the women into commercial sex or labor. Children represent more than a third of identified trafficking victims in Romania. Government officials and NGOs report increased recruitment of children via the internet and social media. Guys, I gotta go back to this article. Because we gotta put the things together. All right. And listen, I'm not saying I'm believing what the BBC is putting out there or what the women are saying out there. It's all what the evidence and what they can find on the hard drives they confiscated and the cell phone devices, right? And the extended investigation they're gonna perform. But you can see how with the underage teens, one of them saying that they were 17 but pretended to be 19 later. There's a lot of things. Because what if one of the girls that is claiming to were trafficked lied about her age and she was actually underage the whole time? What do you think is going to happen when they figure that out? Now, the lawyers are saying, Tate lawyers are saying that, they're not going to find evidence of anything or whatever the hell it is. But guys, come on. A third of people who are trafficked are children in Romania. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, and we can go in an article and things like that, right? We can go in on laws, but we don't have to go that deep. You guys can do the research yourself, right? That's what I do. I read. I read different countries. I'll read different laws and different things because you got to understand what the hell is going on, right? So that's the predicament that these guys are facing. And here's the thing. The big question now that you guys have to ask yourself, and even some of the guys who I call the Tate boys, okay? And these guys are basically the stand boys, the Tate stands, right? Who are, blinded. Some of them are content creators like Sneeko, all right? Fresh and Fit, or some of the other ones too as well. And some of these other content creators who are, jumping on the whole Matrix line. Yeah, the Matrix are coming after him, right? The media, they're trying to shut this man up because, even Tate said it. He said the Matrix was going to come after him, right? He predicted this exact same scenario. So there's a bunch of things sprouting out of this right now, out of the aftermath, and we're actually going to go over that because I find some of that shit hilarious, okay? And one of them has to do with the Tate boys, right? The fanboys that have built, pretty much a cult following around this man. Their leader, they feel as though is being prosecuted unfairly and unjustly, right? So of course there's got to be some things happening. Now, not only you got that band camp that are thinking conspiracy and, this is the Matrix coming after them, but there's also another band camp that's basically saying, hey, wait a minute. Don't y'all find all of this a little bit suspect? Let me explain, okay? Listen, Andrew Tate, if we look at his background, he said that he's a chess master and, his dad was a chess grandmaster and a linguist. But not only that, his dad was a linguist for the CIA. Connections, anyone? Connections, right? So there's a bunch of conspiracies popping out, and one of them is about Andrew Tate's dad being part of the CIA. So I looked into that one and I couldn't find anything serious that could corroborate that story. Just a couple articles on, not articles, but paragraphs on Reddit. I'll actually show some of that to you guys right here. So there's some on Reddit right now where some people are talking about this on forums. They're saying, hey, listen, you got the Greta Thunberg situation going down, now we're finding out Tate's dad is a CIA agent, right? Things like that, right? So doesn't anyone find this weird? So you got people on Reddit talking about this, but where did they get this from? This has to be like from somewhere, right? And you're right, it is from somewhere. It's actually Andrew Tate himself saying that his dad was former CIA.
My father worked for the CIA. He was a linguist.
What's that?
A linguist. He spoke 5 languages. My father did.
Wow. You see?
Yeah. But he spoke them for a reason. So my father was a native English speaker. He only spoke English, and then they took him into the Air Force. He passed, when you join the Air Force, you do a test. He did fantastically in the IQ test. He's top 1 percentile, so they moved him over to a specialized division to learn languages. And he learned Russian, German, Spanish, a bunch of languages.
Did you learn anything about that? Like, did he ever talk to you about it?
He told me that every single thing that you're watching on the news is a lie. He told me that they keep us in the dark. He told me to resist the slave mind. He told me that when you watch the news, your only goal should be to understand what they want you to believe, not to believe it. Yeah. And he made it very clear to me the Matrix existed even way back then.
He's lying. He's lying. I know he's lying because Andrew Tate, I've never seen him like fidget this hard when he's making a statement. Just look at his body language.
Do a test. He did fantastically in the IQ test. He's top 1 percentile, so they moved him over to a specialized division to learn languages. And he learned Russian, German, Spanish, a bunch of languages.
Did you learn anything about that? Like, did he ever talk to you about it?
He told me that every single thing that you're watching on the news is a lie. He told me that they keep us in the dark. He told me to resist the slave mind.
Yeah. The basic gist that most conspiracy people talk about in the beginning with. I'm not really impressed, right? He's saying that, my dad warned me about the Matrix when he was, in the CIA and whatnot. Here's the thing. I don't actually believe that, and neither should you. Matter of fact, I personally think that's just Andrew Tate trying to, beef up his pedigree, kind of like Elon Musk, right? He's a billionaire, but, he's always been rich, but then tried to pretend that he was from rags to riches, right? And then turns out that his dad was some millionaire in South Africa. It's all a backstory because that's what happens when you grift into the self-help industry. All right, when you come into the self-help motivational industry, okay, you got to have a backstory. Okay, it's got to be something. In this case, Andrew Tate is looking for something to make him look cool and to elevate his mysterious status, right, in the eyes of his other followers and things like that. So him just saying that his father was in the CIA, again, it's his own mouth that's getting him in trouble. That he just says shit like this, but then when you get booked, prosecutors and investigators, they have to look at all this shit closely, which is why you're still in prison on an extended stay, because of your own mouth trying to look cool on social media. And it just sucks because he himself has said this. So people are now really going, oh, there are articles that are being written about this right now. People are talking about, hey, man, there are all this conspiracies that Andrew Tate, his dad was in the CIA. Now, this is EV Magazine. They're kind of like I don't really take them as a credible source, which explains why they're covering this article in the first place. But here's more evidence of him.
Father, when he died, someone messaged me who was in, because my father was in the CIA. He held the CIA record for the fastest assimilation of a foreign language. My father learned Russian within 2.5 weeks from zero. Father, when he died,
learned Russian in 2.5 weeks. Listen, his dad's passed away, unfortunately, so we can't corroborate that story. But there it is. He's using his own mouth to get him in trouble. He's just saying all these different things, and we don't know if it's true. We don't know if he's trying to make himself look cool. But I did look deeper into it, and there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence of him being a linguist for the CIA. It seems completely bullshit and made up. And that's one of my issues with Andrew Tate. It's not that I don't like him. Like, he's actually like when you move past the psychotic shit that he says, which I do not agree with, right? There's certain generic shit that he repurposes or repackages, but he says it and delivers in a way that reaches a lot of people, and a lot of people vibe with that, right? And there's no denying the success, so you got to respect it. But there's just these dumb things that he puts out there where it's just like, bruh, yo, whoever's listening to this story, your dad in the CIA and, warning you about the Matrix when you were a boy, Neo, you are the one to save us right now. You got caught up in the Matrix. Bullshit. Okay, I gotta call bullshit. It's no different than Fresh basically saying that he got a threesome off of a random basketball player that he met at a pool party. It just doesn't make any sense. That's not how reality works, okay? But listen, until further evidence comes out to prove that this guy's dad was in the CIA, listen, Tate boys, you gotta settle down on this one, okay? There's no big conspiracy or Matrix or anything like that, okay? Matter of fact, even Andrew Tate's lawyer dismisses any of these conspiratorial claims about the Matrix. His own lawyer. I'm sorry, because the reason why I just kind of was a little passionate there for a second, because the person that introduced this whole Matrix concept was Andrew Tate. When he was arrested, he said, "The Matrix got me, y'all." Here's his own lawyer basically contradicting his own client statement and saying, "Nah, bro, that's not true." Hey, y'all, don't believe the Matrix stuff, okay? It's not true. All right, it's not true. All right, and that's his own lawyer. So, hey, you take kids that are still living in the Matrix, whatever Matrix you call yourself. Let me introduce you to reality and what grown-ups do in reality to find answers. We do research and we listen to other people and what they say. And his own lawyer contradicted Tate's statements about this being a Matrix. So what did that tell you? It tells you that Andrew Tate really can't escape this need to be mysterious, this need to almost be a martyr. And that's essentially what's going to happen if for some magical reason he gets off scot-free, which I'm with more evidence starting to come out, it's starting to look like that's not going to be a possibility at all. But with all of these evidence coming out, bro, listen, if he somehow gets off scot-free, this would literally make him a martyr, right? Because this wouldn't be the first time or second time or third time mainstream media has come after Tate, and Tate has beaten that. And that's essentially what's going on. So he probably purposely threw the Matrix thing out there to kind of throw a lot of people off and it did work, because a bunch of people who are his fans, or Tate boys, as I like to call them, are speculating that this is all a conspiracy. His dad was in the CIA, got a Thunberg, he got arrested afterwards, and now he's in jail. Now they're extending it. Are they going to Epstein this guy? What's going to happen, right? So there's just a lot of things going on. But guys, his own lawyer is saying that there's no Matrix happening, okay? This is the real world. The brother's arrested and he's in jail. All right. And he likely needs your support. Okay. He likely needs your support. And listen, just being real, there is no shortage of that, because there has been protests. There have been protests in Romania about Andrew Tate's arrest right now. The Tate boys in Greece are out in full force. Okay, guys, they are out here with picket signs, and they're out here with their voice and their presence, and they're trying to make it known to the Greek government. I don't know why you're going after Greece. Okay, y'all should be in Romania helping your boy, but okay, I guess you gotta protest where you can. But yeah, so his fans are going ham in Greece right now, protesting the arrest or the unfair extension of Andrew Tate's situation right now. It's going crazy. A lot of people are not happy. All right, a mass of Andrew Tate's fans screamed through Athens earlier this week. They chanted "Free Top G," a term they coined in support of their top gangster. Oh shit. Yo, is it me or when mainstream media covers this crap, it just comes off as cringe, right? I don't know if this is me or I'm sorry. I don't know if this is me or just like how this is it, how I'm interpreting this, but like me just reading this right here, they chanted free top G in terms a term they coined in support of their top gangster. That's such a cringe statement, bro. All right, let's look into the article a little bit. All right. So a mass of Tate fans rallied in support of him in Athens earlier this week as he's being investigated in connection to human trafficking and rape allegations. Videos of the protests circulated on social media this week, which amassed millions of views. The clips showed a large group of predominantly young men pumping their fists in the air and chanting "Free Top G, Free Top G." Let's take a look, guys. Free Top G, 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 Free Top G. Look at the faces of these young men, bro. Just look at the faces of these young men. Some of them don't even have beards. But that's his target demographic, and they're out in full force. They are not playing, okay? They are taking Tate's incarceration seriously, all right? So free the top G, Greece, if y'all don't know what's good for you, even though Greece, you have nothing to do with the whole Tate situation. They got to talk to Romania, but we just hope there's somebody, is there somebody that can stand up to the Romanian government and the corrupt prosecutors in freeing our top G? Well, listen, there's one such influencer that is actually leading the charge on this situation right now, all right? And this is like probably one of the biggest influencer right now in the world, next to like Jadion, IShowSpeed, and Kai Cenat, all right? He is up there, all right? Matter of fact, some would even say he's responsible for IShowSpeed's career. And I am talking about one and no other Aiden Ross. Yep, the top Tate G stan, which is kind of sad because, I mean, this is what happens when you've ingested at least 2 years worth of top G content. You slowly morph into the top G. So, yeah, that there you go. It's Aiden Ross, people. He's out there in full force right now, letting the world know that he has a planned trip to Romania, and he is going to go ahead and visit him. So that way, you know, the top G is not alone, but, you know, he can pretty much try to do something or maybe leverage his influence somehow to, you know, lighten the sentencing that's going on right now with the top G. I'm not really sure that's what Aiden Ross's plan is actually, and realistically, I don't even know why he wants to go to Romania. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what Aiden Ross is planning on doing. He even said in an article that we're actually going to listen here off here that he already has plans made to Romania, and he's going to go there and meet his top G, his top mentor and best friend, Andrew Tate. I mean, forget Tristan, forget the other two girls who are likely going to flip on Andrew Tate. If I'm just being real with you, listen, when you get into that interrogation room, it's a different ball game. So I'd be looking at those two other girls with a different kind of eye, bro, because especially your assistant, this lady right here, seems like she probably knows a lot about the Tate organization. And listen, looking at her, that photo on the right, she's not looking like she's having a good time in jail right now. And the fact that that just is extended 30 years, listen, a girl's got to have her makeup, okay? Do you think a girl like this wants to spend another 30 days in jail without having access to her makeup, right? And her other things that make her feel beautiful? Look at her, right? Look at Tate. They're not looking good right now, okay? And, you know, it's crazy. Look at this other one over here. I mean, Jesus Christ, she looks like a completely different woman, right? You think she's not going to miss, you know, all the nice necessities in life? And, you know, all the lawyer, or not lawyer, the investigator has to do is say, hey, just tell us what really went down in the criminal organization or the Tate criminal organization, and we'll let you go, right? And a girl like this, she'll flip. These two women look like they're having a rough time right now in jail. Look at this shit. Listen, Tate, fuck all the conspiracy shit. Forget all about that. I'd be worried about these two girls flipping on you. Because trust me, looking at this situation right now, they look like they're going to flip. Tate, you got to be careful. They look like they're going to flip. So listen, Aiden Ross is going to plan his little trip. All right. But here's the thing. There might be already a curveball tossed into that already because Andrew Tate's own lawyer is saying that, hey, listen, I doubt that Aiden Ross is actually going to be there. And not because Aiden Ross doesn't have the means to be there. It's likely because the prosecutor is not going to allow it, right? And let's go into the article to figure out why. And this was yesterday, folks. Andrew Tate's lawyer cast doubt over Aiden Ross visiting him in custody. Andrew Tate's lawyer has casted doubt over Twitch star Aiden Ross being able to visit the influencer in Romania custody despite being added to his visitor list. So remember, Andrew Tate has like 5 or 7 people on his visitor list right now, and each of those people on that list have to be approved. And I think, no, it's about 7 of them, and I think 5 of them are like family members, and 2 of them are probably like non-family members. And Aiden Ross apparently is on the list of one of those 2. So if he's on the list of the visitor list that's supposed to be approved, why is it that his own lawyer, Tate speaking, does not cast doubt that Aiden Ross might actually show up? Well, since his arrest at the end of 2022, Andrew Tate has remained detained in Romanian custody despite efforts to appeal claims that there is no evidence of his alleged crime. Tate recently revealed that he put a Twitch streamer, Aiden Ross, on his visitor list, and Ross quickly revealed that he's working on organizing a trip to Romania soon. However, Andrew Tate's lawyer cast doubt over whether or not Aiden Ross would be permitted to actually visit the controversial influencer. Andrew Tate's lawyer says on January 20th, Andrew Tate's defense attorney commented on the Romanian publication Granul regarding Twitch star's possible a visit to Tate. I received this information yesterday. I visited Andrew yesterday evening, but I did not ask him, said Eugene Vindiak. From my point of view, he does not have the opportunity to visit Andrew because they are not related. So the prosecutor did not grant the request. So that's one of the reasons. They're saying that he's not a family member, so he can't come in. This is crazy. Although the attorney isn't the one to make the final call whether or not Aiden will be allowed to visit Andrew, fans are still left to wonder whether or not the visit will happen. If met with any issues, though, Aiden now has more time to figure out the logistics around the visit, as Andrew Tate's 30-day extension was extended to February 27th of next month, making it a total of 60 days in Romanian custodies. Tate's assets are still being held by authorities, including his iconic orange Bugatti Chiron. So where's his Bugatti? It's with the Romanian authorities, okay? So, I don't know what else to tell you. Neither Andrew nor Aiden have commented on the pending visit and his lawyer since his lawyer comment, but we'll be sure to update his article if they do. Sorry guys, this is like text is a little small for me to read, so I'm like stumbling over here, but there you have it. Wow, what a fucking handful and a shit show, huh? Like, Jesus Christ, what is going on here? So, Aiden Ross, listen, the Tate boys are out in full force, okay? You got their leader, Aiden Ross, the Twitch streamer who's leading the charge amongst the sea of 20-year-olds or the teenagers to 20-year-olds, right? So, where is this going to lead to? Is this going to help Tate get out of jail sooner? Likely not. In fact, I think that they're probably going to extend the date after February 27th because they can extend it for up to 180 days. So that's another situation that we're dealing with right now, depending on what the authorities feel as though they need to investigate. Okay, so even if they've been in jail right now, or they will be in jail for a total of 60 days, and they could potentially be in jail for 60 more days. Again, all of this is due to the fact that Andrew Tate self-snitched on himself, basically deeming him a flight risk, and they're not letting him go until they're done with all these investigations. His assets have been seized, his passports has been seized. They got everything, including his prized possession, the Bugatti Chiron that he uses to flex on everybody. It's no longer his anymore, or it belongs to the Romanian authorities. So there's certainly a lot going on here. Anyone else that's trying to dismiss this as a nothing burger, y'all need to grow up and really just face reality for a second. His lawyer is telling y'all it's not a matrix. There's something else going on here than what is actually being talked about. And I think that you guys are doing yourself a huge disservice by not actually doing your due diligence and investigating what's actually happening to your own goddamn leader and the associates around this man. You guys are believing YouTube influencers, TikTok influencers, Twitch influencers who have nothing else to gain but views and publicity out of this. They're not in this man's shoes. You don't know what it's like. These guys, even the Tates, no matter what, bro, no matter what you say, they're still human beings, and you don't know what it's like for them in prison. It's fucking not prison, jail. Jail is fucking difficult, my guy. I'm gonna tell you this. It's not easy. And you look at see the look on these guys' faces, you could tell like it's a far cry from that, you know, pressed, pampered, rich guy look that these guys used to adorn on themselves, right? They look like they're unkept. They look like they've been stressed out, right? Andrew, I mean, look at the girls themselves. They're walking around being handcuffed together. I mean, this is certainly a stressful situation to be in. And no matter what, you guys are listening to influencers like Sneeko, influencers like Aiden Ross. I'm not saying they're bad people. That's not what I'm saying. But these guys aren't spending time in jail. They're not 60 days in prison. Imagine Aiden Ross. Imagine Aiden Ross, this guy right over here, spending time in Romanian jail. You know, a guy like that wouldn't hack it. And all these social media, you know, fan support and all that, that's just it. It's all distant support. It's not really there because when it comes down to it, they're alone in jail. And they're possibly going to be alone in jail for 60 more days. That's a potential possibility. And after they get done in jail, there's a pretty big possibility they can go to jail for up to 12 freaking years. So for you fanboys out there who are believing this gospel hype that their top G, what do you call it, apostles are preaching upon you, telling you this is some kind of conspiracy, this is some kind of, guys, grow up. And this is what we try to tell you in this space. It's not that we're dogging these guys or anything like that. It's just that these very same guys that are telling you that reality is a sham are the same ones that are actually pulling you away from reality and lulling you to sleep within their own matrix. So you guys need to wake up because your leaders could be in serious possible trouble, which leads me to my last thing, right? What and how long, how much time do you foresee these guys doing? All right, I'm actually let y'all pretty much talk about this in the chat, right? While I speculate, okay? Now, this is all speculation. We don't know until more evidence comes out and realistically what the judge decides on where they're going to go with this. But realistically, I personally, are they going to get 12 years, right? Maybe not, all right? Here's what I think. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to do some time, right? Now, the type of time they're going to do is the real question, and what kind of fees and fines are going to come after this, right? I don't think they're going to go 12 years or 10 years in prison. I think they're going to probably be on a lower end, probably even lower than that, probably a year to 2 years in prison and probably a couple $1 million in fine. And realistically, they're probably just going to take his Bugatti and the assets they already have from him and say, hey, fines paid, whatever, dude. Now you get out of here, right? So I think he's probably going to do maybe no more than 2 to 3 years. And he's going to definitely pay millions in fines because the government is expending money to do this investigation, and they're going to want to get some kind of cut out of this. So they're going to keep that Bugatti. They're going to keep it. It's not going anywhere. So I think that's what's likely going to be the scenario with the Tate brothers. And the girls who are involved with this are probably going to get less time. And reason why is because I feel as though that, you know, the prosecutors are going to keep the pressure on these guys, and particularly the girls, because don't take this the wrong way, because they're going to view the girls as the weakest link and probably the ones who are more likely to flip. And to be honest with you, the way I'm looking at this scenario right now, I think these girls are way more likely to flip on the Tate brothers, and I think this is what the prosecutors are banking on. And anything and everything that these girls are going to provide, you guarantee it, they're going to use it against the Tate brothers. If they're using the social media, the media's posts, they're using the social media statements, and they're making that admissible, you best believe they're going to make these other things admissible in court too as well. So there's just going to be a lot of things surrounding it. Are they going to do a shit ton of time? Probably not, just because, hey, listen, dude, money talks. But the one thing I will say is the Romanian government is under pressure to make an example out of these guys because they have something to prove with the greater European community at large to prove that they are not these corrupt third world country that everyone sees them as for human trafficking, and also that they're actually taking the necessary steps to actually mitigate and remove human sex trafficking from their the record books, right? The stain that's being left on the record books right now. They want to remove themselves from that kind of stereotype. So there's definitely a lot of stuff working against the Tate brothers right now. Listen, as much as you can, some people are on two different fences, right? A lot of people are really excited that the Tate brothers are going down. A lot of people are butthurt that the Tate brothers is going down, right? Listen, either way, whatever side of fence you fall on this, it still sucks to be in this situation. All right. It still sucks, whatever it is they're going through. And if they are being found guilty of these crimes, prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Because listen, I'm sorry, bro, but I don't vibe with people who do sex trafficking, especially sex trafficking if it comes out to be with minors and shit. That's fucking weird, dude. Like, why would you even be associated with somebody who's even associated with any of that? Listen, you might say some factual shit and people may rock with you, but like, listen, bro, it's high time you get some damn principles. If you're found guilty of this shit, bro, and there's overwhelming evidence that you might be, I'm sorry, bro, but you got to get prosecuted because listen, no one is like, literally, how can you be that stupid? Seriously. How can you be that stupid to have a criminal organization under your books and then pursue social media clout? Most mafia bosses or organized crime bosses who are successful, you don't even know they exist because they make a conscious effort to limit their public presence. But this was an argument people were fighting against for a long time. Why would the Tate brothers, if they're doing these criminal things and part of this criminal organization, why would they bring this unwanted attention to themselves? Listen, there are a lot of dumb people out there, and there are a lot of even dumber people with a shit ton of money. And I guarantee you, listen, you sell them a good story, they'll buy it. You just ask the billionaires that invested in FTX, right? Like the Shark Tank guy, Kevin O'Leary. Hi, buddy. Hey, how you think? How you liking them investments now, huh? I hope they're worth the wait. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't know how much money they have or how much Bugattis they're driving. All right, money doesn't equate to genius. Okay, you can be rich and fucking stupid. And just like the Tate brothers, listen, drug. I didn't tell you to start a criminal organization and then blow up on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Okay, you did that, and with that kind of attention, it's completely dangerous, as you guys are seeing yourself. But that's all I have to say about this, guys. This has been a very interesting stream, interesting Saturday, and you best believe I'm definitely going to be looking into this and keep you guys updated on what's going on in this scenario, but not just here, and what's going on in the greater red pill space. Okay, because listen, there are not a lot of people who are putting it together like this channel is. So go ahead and drop that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification if you want to see more of this channel. And guys, I will catch you guys on the next weekend. Go ahead and have your fun, party if that's your thing. All right, grab some drink if that's your thing. Relax. It's the weekend, and I'm gonna catch you next weekend. Peace.